All right, everyone. So I know most people were here last time, but I do have a couple of newbies, so I'm just gonna do a couple quick repeats. So for those of you that have not seen Epsona before, it is a browser-based tool and it rests within Salesforce. So as you can see, it's a tab within Salesforce. And our interface mirrors what Salesforce tabs do. So you can see all your objects across here. Whatever rules, regulations you have, meaning through profiles, permission sets, Epsona respects those. So if there's something that they cannot see in Salesforce, they will not be able to see it in Epsona as well. Because it is a browser-based tool, I'm just going to reiterate that anytime you can download something, I highly recommend that you do that because we do not have access to your data. And so we can't, if something goes horribly wrong, which I'm going to raise my hand as a former admin, that's happened to me more times than I care to admit. Um, I can't help you by supplying you a backup copy of anything because I don't have access to it. So I just want to be really clear on that. So today, what I'm going to focus on, our use case is going to be we work for a nonprofit, and the nonprofit has a board, and they're going to have a board meeting, and they wanted to see some information about the opportunities that we have. And so we're going to use two of the licenses that Epsona offers. The first one is going to be, I'm going to talk a little bit about document merge first, and then I'm going to go into multi-step reporting, and then I'm going to use the multi-step report to generate the document merge. So the first thing I wanted to show you is that the documents all reside within Salesforce here. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I got a little frog in my throat. Um, and I'm going to use this particular document summary that I already have put together. This is how you would manage those templates, if you will. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that I can easily download what I've already got in the system. I'm going to pull it up and I have to pull it over as soon as it opens. My apologies. Sorry. One second. Thinking. Here we go. All right. There you go. And so I just wanted to start by showing you what a document looks like. Our our document merge program works with either Word functionality or Excel or Google Docs, Google Sheets. So it can do any of those things. This is what a template would look like. We've prepared it for Acme widgets, if you will. You can include graphics in here. We did something in a table, and I'm going to go in just a second and kind of walk you through the multi-step report. But you can see it's just using standard word merge functionality, and it would be very similar in the Google Doc. Excuse me. So if I wanted to update that or replace that, I would simply click this replace button and choose my file and replace it here, which makes it really simple to manage all of these documents. With that being said, I'm going to go over and I'm going to go to my reporting tools and I'm going to jump right into the multi-step report. One thing I should say out loud, you can do merges from either a report. You can use single step reports, which are part of our base license, or multi-step reports. I'm going to focus on multi-step. And or you can do a button merge, if you will. And if you have interest in that, I just want you to know that it exists. And we're happy to talk about it offline after this. So I just wanted to be sure that you knew that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my demo report and I'm going to edit it because I kind of want to walk you through the steps and talk through this. Now, multi-step reports can work with standard or custom objects, and it works through what's called a linkage. And so the linkage is how each thing connects. You can link as many objects as you want. And I think it was Ron that was asking about some complex reporting requirements. I will tell you that we have a lot of higher ed folks that use this tool that have some really complex report requirements. I went to a support hour for Affiniquest customers, and they needed to provide a vendor with a merged document that spanned 15 objects, and she was actually able to do it and get it all in one report. So I just want to say the possibilities are endless, but this is going to be a very simple use case. Um, And I will say the last time I used this in a demo, somebody said, well, couldn't you just do this with bucket reports? Yes, you could bucket what I'm about to do. However, I'm going to run the merge from it. So I just wanted to say up front that this is just a base use case so that it was very easy for anybody to follow. All right. So this report that we're going to use it's looking at opportunities year over year that is going to list the opportunities by account type. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the base of the report, if you will, step 1, and I'm going to call my step account type. Now, when we set this up, we did not type in a description, but I highly recommend that you do that, especially if you leave the organization, other people can pick up what you used. Our database object for this particular step is called account. I can go in and I can look at retrieve fields, and I want to spend a moment here. So not only can I see the account fields for this, I can see any of these other object fields and include them in my report. So I could go to the contact, and if there was a specific field here that I wanted to pull in, I could. I can do the account master record or the account parent record. So I can access all these different fields here. The other thing I wanted to show you is I know there have been times when I was an admin where you have a field and it's named the same thing in two different objects. You can easily go in and edit your field label or your column label right here by simply clicking and typing. So a lot of times what I'll do, like if I have a contact email and an account email and you can't quite tell in the report, I will go in and adjust these so that it makes sense to the person who's consuming the data and makes life a lot easier. Then the next thing I'm going to set up is filter terms. And in this case, I think it's 5 different account types. And what I wanted to do is exclude my partner account type. And so what I did is I went and I said, I need opportunity close date year is 2020, and I want to exclude account types that are not among partner. And I have several options here: is among, not among, is empty, and not empty. So I'm going to keep my not among. You can also select my range and sort. So if maybe I only want to see the first 10 records, I can easily do that by limiting this number. I can also decide how things are sorted, as well as talk about the record containing the highest value with the annual revenue. I can speak, yes. And then the first 5 records ranked by annual revenue descending. So I'm not going to use any of that. I just want you to be aware of this. And I think Aaliyah has a link, if I'm not mistaken, that can explain more of this. We are not going to have a linkage on this step because it's the first step. So I'll talk about that in the next step. So then the next thing I have to do is I have to create the uh, the opportunity. I'm going to pull the opportunities in to create the rest of the report. And so I'm going to name step 2 2020 ops. I'm going to base it on the opportunity object. I'm going to pull the retrieve fields that make sense to me for my report. And again, I kept it really, really simple. So I'm just looking at what kind of account type is it? Uh, what's the number of opportunity records? Like how many opportunities? And then what is the sum of the opportunity amount? And this is considered a metrics field. Okay. Again, I have filter terms available to me. In this case, because it's the 2020 step, I only want opportunities with the closed year of 2020. I have my range and sort, which I'm not going to touch, but this is where the magic is. And so what this looks like, and it depends on what your first step is as to what shows up here. I'm just going to get rid of this. And what it'll do is it'll give you, depending on how complex your report is. Now, ours is very simple, various options that you can do to create what we call the linkage. And Aaliyah has some more documentation she's going to throw in the chat that will help you understand linkages. Now, I highly recommend saving after each step so that, especially if you have something really complex like the one I mentioned earlier, 2021 ops, 2022 ops are basically the same, except that my filter terms are different. So I'm going to go ahead and save and run this report. And here we go. And so what this did is it took the account, it listed it by account type like I asked it to, right? And here I can see my 2020 ops, my 2021 ops, and my 2022 ops. And I can see, oh, in 2020, I had 5 uh, opportunity records, and the amount was this. In 2021, 3. So think about how easy this is to visualize. I can set my columns here. I can remove columns if I don't want them. I can also export either Excel or CSV. Here's where I'm going to go though. I'm going to tap into our mail merge, if you will, and walk you through this piece of it. So remember, I had the document under the documents. Now I've got my report. And now I'm going to talk about the merge action. So if this was something that I do all the time and it's already preset, I can easily just click this and I can come here. And if I have a bunch of them, I would have them here and I would pick whatever merge action it is that I'm trying to do. I'm going to kind of walk you through this just so you know what it takes to set it up. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and I want you to see all the options you have for our merge outputs. So we have the ability to generate a DOCX or PDF merge. We can also do address labels. We can do an Excel merge. We can do an email merge. We can do an email merge with a document attached. We can also do an email with Excel attached. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this and I'm going to pick my functionality and I'm going to click edit so that you can see the rest of the steps. To get this set up, I think I mentioned earlier, you could either use Microsoft Word, which would be those Salesforce documents I showed you in the first step, or you can use Google Docs. And if you use Google Docs, the way that the update works is you don't have to download and upload. It's simply you fix the template. But I caution, just be sure that if you use Google, you have some sort of controls in place so people don't inadvertently adjust your templates on you without you knowing it. You get to pick uh, whichever ones you want that are in the document section. You can pick anything you want. I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to leave it. Your output format can be a DOCX or a PDF. And then you have several ways to output structure. So you can do a single file with page breaks. I've seen this used where maybe you have a very large mailing that you're putting together and it needs to be at a print house. You can easily generate this single file with page breaks and send it to the print house. You can do a single file with paragraph breaks. Um, you can also do a separate file, one for each record, and I'll tell you why that's an advantage to you. And then you would give it a name, if you will. All right. The section over here is called a conditional template. And so there's 2 ways that you can have variable text, if you will, in your templates. One way is to set, and this is the way you do it, is to pick a field. Like a lot of times people will pick the amount field on an opportunity, right? And if let's just say the opportunity is $50,000 or over, I want this template. If it's $49,999 and under, I want this template. So you would just choose the controlling field here. In this case, we only have one because of the report. And then you would pick your templates from here and just say, this is what we want to do. Excuse me. There is a section for run parameters where you can have variable data here. Aaliyah, because I'm not going to have enough time to go deep into it, is going to stick a link in the chat for you to kind of explain a little bit more about what those do and how they work so that you can take a look at that on your own time. And then this is where you would map all the fields. So the merge field over here is what's coming from the merge document. And then here, I just go in and I pick the data field from Salesforce that I want to fill the merge field. And I have access to data fields. I also have access to system fields if I need it. All right. And then I'm going to click next. I've already mapped all this for you. So yesterday we had a use case for this append, attach attachment contents. I will get it out of my mouth yet. We had a use case where somebody had Experience Cloud and they had a lot of documents that were being submitted, and the output needed to be the PDF that is generated by this merge action and like an appendix of all these documents that come after it. So this is a way that you can potentially do that. This is one of my favorite options here, these logging options. So every time you run this merge action, you have the ability to do things like create a task. Oh, my donation folks need to follow up with this in 2 weeks. So here we go. We're going to create a task and remind them to do that. I also have the ability to attach an output document to the corresponding, and then you pick where you want it. That is strictly for that version where you're generating individual documents. You also have the ability over here to set a field. So, for example, if this is like a tax receipt and you want to have an acknowledgement date and you want the status to be changed to acknowledge, you could easily map those fields right here and tell it what value to put in there. Mm. Um, we also have some formatting options for date formats and currency. So if you deal in foreign countries, you have some options there. And then you can save this action. So if I were truly doing this and it was something I did on a regular basis, I want to be clear, you do not have to go through all these steps that I just did. I just want to be clear that you know that you would literally start at that first screen, say, this is the merge action I want to run, and click the button and run it. I was just walking you through how to get it set up so that you could see how easy it is to set up. I'm going to go ahead and save and run this. And of course, I'm going to download my results. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it. And it comes out in a file here. Bear with me. And that's the, hold on one second. It went on a different screen. My apologies, guys. Eh, it's not letting me grab it. There we go. Can you see that okay, Aaliyah? Yes? Is that a yes? You're on mute. Okay, thank you. And so what it did is the way I have my template set up is it generated individual documents. And so I can see that this is for the account type analyst, and I had one in 2020. I'll pull another one up for you so you can see it. And here's one where it's the account type is customer. So there were 5 in 2020. Here's the amount. So you could see how easy that was. Now we do have the ability to also do sub lists within the merge. We have lots and lots of documentation on this, so I just kept it simple for the purposes of this review, but there's lots of help and opportunity here that you can do all kinds of things with this merge document. We have seen some pretty amazing things.